Hi, my name is Vivian, but you can call me Viv, in case you didn't know that yet. In this video, I'll be discussing...
sometimes I forget how much I hate it.
She is not a good...
She is the definition of a spoiled...
He's got two sisters, including the infamous...
She comes off as annoying. Okay, I'm inclined to state the obvious.
Just because you couldn't get it.
I know people have a right to have their own opinions, and with that, here is my opinion about how I feel about DW. What you are saying is not true, you... My apologies. I didn't mean anything harmful from that. That is how I feel in an extreme way. So allow me to say it in a more calmer way. They are right. Kind of. DW is kind of a brat. I cannot lie. And when I was younger, I saw my little sister as DW, because from how annoying and bratty they both were. But as the DW haters are right, they are also wrong. She doesn't act like a brat or a villain all the time, and if she did, she would be even more disliked by everyone, and the writers of the show would slowly go insane. Anyway, as you know right before you clicked on this video, I am going to be talking about why DW Reed should be more loved by people who hate her. Cue the intro! Wasn't that intro awesome? It should be, because it took me a long time to make it awesome. Anyways, the topic of this video. Why DW Reed should be more loved. Video idea by me. Let's start with what we know about DW. She can be stereotyped as a brat. The definition of the word brat is a child, typically a badly behaved one. And DW can be like that sometimes. She wants attention, she's greedy, she's selfish, she's annoying, but who isn't? If you look back to when you were younger, or right now, did you do any of these 4 things? And if the answer is no, then there's no easy way to say this, but you are a robot. Jokes aside, DW isn't being a brat on purpose because she wants to be a bad person. It's just the way she acts, even if it is hard to believe. And if you still don't believe me that DW isn't a brat all the time, or you don't think she doesn't have any moments during the series that qualify her as a good person, then keep watching to find out more. I'm going to mention 5 episodes starring DW, which leads to me proving you all that her character doesn't revolve her being a full-blown brat, and that she is a good person. Let's get started. DW flips. In this episode, DW is inspired to take gymnastics. She practices, but she ends up not being as good as Emily, what's her name? Which leads to DW attempting to do a cartwheel on the balance beam. And she almost ends up hurting herself if it wasn't for Emily, who went to get Miss Morgan and DW's mom. Which leads to DW and Emily becoming friends. The end. It's true that in this episode DW makes some bad decisions, and the main bad decision leads to the good decisions of DW defending Emily from the troublesome Tibbles, and the other good decision of DW respecting Emily and becoming friends with her. DW thinks big. In this episode, DW is excited about Aunt Lucy's wedding. Later on, she learns that she isn't going to be doing anything for the wedding, because she's too little. She tries to help everyone get ready for the wedding, but she ends up failing. During the wedding, cousin Cora, the flower girl, makes Arthur, the ring bearer, mess up by losing the wedding ring in the church organ. Arthur is too big to get inside the organ and retrieve it. Cora is small enough, but she's too scared about getting her dress dirty. But for DW, she is small enough and has a huge amount of courage to save the ring. Arthur allows DW to be the ring bearer, and Aunt Lucy lets her wear Cora's flower girl flower crown. And everyone lives happily ever after. The end. Despite her age, DW has a lot of courage. After the ring incident is over, Arthur changes his mind about DW being too young, and also changes his mind about the wedding tradition of the ring bearer having to be a boy, and of course Aunt Lucy, as I mentioned before, gives DW the flower crown that she rightly deserves. And of course, DW might be small, but within her mind and her character, she can think big. DW rides again. In this episode, DW wants to enter the bike-a-thon, but then she learns that she needs a two-wheeler in order to do that. She also wants one because she wants the Tibbles to stop picking on her, and she just wants one in general of just wanting one. She gets one, learns everything she needs to know from Arthur, but the Tibbles still pick on her because she still has training wheels. She convinces her parents to take off the training wheels, but it doesn't work out that well, and she is not willing to let anything get in her way in learning how to ride a proper two-wheeler, even if it means learning all by herself. After constant trial and error, she doesn't care how long it takes for her to accomplish this challenge. Then she succeeds, and gets her moment to shine during the bike-a-thon. The end. DW is a very determined character throughout this episode, and through her determination, she gets a two-wheeler, learns how to ride one from Arthur, and she teaches herself with many scrapes and bruises along the way until she succeeds. But right before she succeeds riding her two-wheeler bike, she looks as if a year or years had passed, but it appears to only have been a few days or a few weeks. Anyway, during this moment after her constant trial and error determination, she mentally matures as a character to not give up no matter how long it takes. DW aims high. In this episode, DW's class is going to have a career day, where DW and her fellow classmates are going to present what they want to be when they grow up. If that's ever going to happen. Anyway, DW wants to have a career that involves her being the first at something when she grows up. She later learns that no one has been to Mars yet, and that's when she decides to make it her career dream to be an astronaut, in order to be the first person on Mars. She learns some terrifying things about Mars that ends up not being true. But then she learns things about Mars that are true, and then she presents her career dream to her class and teaches them about Mars. The end. DW starts out selfishly wanting to be the first person at something when she grows up. Then she figures out what that career is going to be in order to be the first at something, but then she becomes afraid of it and almost doesn't want to do it. But around the end of the episode, she still wants to be the first person to go to Mars, but not because she wants to be the first, but as her responsibility to find out if there's any life on Mars. The Princess Problem. In this episode, DW Reed and Emily, whose last name I don't know, are fans of the Princess Platoon movies. DW and Emily discover that Lydia doesn't like princesses, and DW learns that it's because Lydia hasn't seen a princess of fiction in a wheelchair like herself, or any princess with a disability. DW is in disbelief about this. But afterwards, DW gets invited to Emily's princess-themed tea party.
What would you like with your tea?
Sorry, I couldn't help myself. Later on, DW learns from Lydia about a real-life half-blind princess named Doña Ana. But Emily doesn't like this not-so-princessy princess, and she doesn't want DW to come as her to her tea party. But DW defies Emily's expectations and comes as Doña Ana. Same with Lydia, who comes as a princess of her own creation. After the two of them save Emily, they both earn Emily's respect of the princesses they dress up as, and also a respect for other princesses with disabilities as well. The end. DW learns that there aren't that many fictional princesses with disabilities represented in the world, and she also comes to understand that there should be. She also learns that there's more to a princess than just looks and being perfect. It's so much more than that. And instead of coming as Princess Perky or a princess of her own creation to Emily's tea party, she dresses up as a legendary half-blind princess, Doña Ana. There is also 2 other episodes that I didn't include because of one main detail that they both have. The episodes are I'd Rather Read It Myself and DW's Perfect Wish. These 2 episodes highlight many of DW's awesome moments throughout the show so far at that time. As you can see from all these episodes that I mentioned that highlight DW's greatest moments, that there is more to DW's character than her flaws of being a rude person sometimes, and that she shouldn't be defined as a generic bratty villain just because of her flaws that make her human. And I'm not saying that all the stupid mean stuff that she did should be swept under the rug and to be forgotten about, or she had a right reason to do all that stuff. I'm just saying that she shouldn't be hated because of what she's done, and to not let the brilliant, nice, awesome stuff that she's done to be swept under the rug. Or maybe I'm wrong and all the DW haters are right. Maybe she should be defined by all the bratty things that she's done, and that all her good qualities don't matter. But that's just their opinion. And of course, I don't believe that I'm wrong. Here's a clip of a YouTuber that understands DW's character.
This little girl is one of the most relatable characters in any TV show I've ever seen. Her opinions resonate with me on a spiritual level, and she's just got so much snark that it's always hilarious to watch.
I'm sick of sunshine. Sun, all the time sun.
DW really gets me.
But I'm not sure if I'm going to change your mind about DW. And you probably still see her as an annoying brat that you hate. And that's okay. I'm just showing you why she should be more loved. That we should accept her as a flawed character with strong morals. And if you aren't one of those people that can be persuaded to not hate her anymore, that's fine. And I thank you for watching this far with what I had to say. Right before I end this video, allow me to say a few more words. DW should be more loved, and that she should be defined by love, instead of hate.